real-time graphics, and branded opportunities. And we'll finish off with a Q&A. Today we have on our panel, we have Arthur Mason, Senior Director of Professional Services, Andreas Olson, Product Manager for Virtual Placement and Paint, Owen Seaton, Account Director of Venues, and Brian Bray, General Manager, for Venues, Creative Services, and VSAR. And we also have Jacob, my colleague here, who will be monitoring all questions. So please feel free to ask away in the chat, and we'll try to get to it during the Q&A. Thank you, and I'll hand it off to Arthur now.
You're muted, yeah.
Classic. Great start. But thank you, Ileana, and nice to see so many here today. Like Ileana mentioned, we are here to show you Virtual First, which is a module within our product Virtual Placement. So to just take a quick step back to talk about Virtual Placement is Chyron's augmented reality camera tracking tool to place graphics inside of various sport environments. And within that, we have Virtual First, which is specifically used in American football, NFL, college football, and the Canadian Football League. Yes, sorry. God, I lost track of where I was.
You were introducing the product.
Yes, I had my notes here and I got a little sidetracked. But yes, so Virtual First, like we talked about, it's trusted and built and been used for years all across America in both venues and broadcasters from the East Coast to West Coast. It is core functionality is to show the down and distance lines, as you can imagine. It is controlled either manually or by a data source. And beyond that, we can also use it to put advertisement up, which is a great way for customers to take that other step, to not just show great graphics, but also get return on investment by putting advertisements both along the yellow line and the blue line, as well as the first down and distance information. To the next slide. Thank you, Ileana. So to go a little bit more into depth of what this product is, we are a purely optical calibration and tracking tool. We don't require any lenses or hardware on the camera itself. We simply just take in the SDI signal. Along that, we work with the director or the camera operator directly to take a set of snapshots along the field. This process is very short and very fast, which makes the system really, really great, in my opinion. We calibrate a camera usually takes about 15 minutes. Most of that time is with the operator itself, meaning that we don't need to tie up the rest of the production for very long. The game day visualizations, also super fast and easy to use. The graphics are fully customizable. As you can see here in this image, this is just a design that you can easily make in Photoshop. The system comes with a set of designs as well. And as you can see, we have added there the Coca-Cola Zero logo, which is fully customizable to whatever logo you might have as your sponsor. That is it for the quick introduction. Let me now put the word over to Andreas Olson, the product manager of Virtual First and Virtual Placement.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Arthur, for that great introduction. So again, just want to speak real quickly about the optical calibration and the ease of setup with our system. It's fully optical. There's no mechanical hardware, as Arthur said. No sensors required. That means a faster setup and a cheaper setup, to be honest. Lower operational overhead, more flexibility. on average, a camera takes about, I would say, 10 minutes to calibrate, but you're tying up the camera operator for like 2 minutes to do it per camera. So let's say 30 minutes if you have 3 game cameras is what's necessary. Uh, the good thing about the system is it could be downstream or it could be on site. So we support both downstream and on site. You know, setups. And we've actually worked a lot with customers over here in Europe, especially with to make sure the graphics is there. We can actually do an audio signal to tell our system that the camera is coming on. So we need to make sure the calibration is there and make sure that whatever you want to put on air, it's gonna be there when you actually select that camera in a downstream environment. And again, we can calibrate up to 3 cameras, so you can have your especially for American football, your left game camera, center game camera, and right game camera, uh, which is and we can also deliver 3 separate outputs, meaning operator puts in your tools, let's say the feather in this case, and it appears on all 3 outputs. So it's not up to the director to say which camera we're on. He's getting all the cameras and he just selects it, or he or she just selects whatever camera it is. The good thing about the system is we have, in a sense, a broadcast calibration and tracking. As you can see in this image right here, you see the yellow lines and how they're following the play just from the calibration. And again, properly just optical tracking that's happening here. So we're just trying to figure out where the lines are. The good thing about this, since I started about a year ago, the focus has been a lot on the NFL, and especially things like let's make it more stable. And of course, one of the things we struggled with before that was, let's say our left game camera goes into the crowd to get a crowd shot. When it gets back, it locks in within frames. So that's been one of the things, because for an operator, it's great to see that it's sort of there, it's stable, it's jumping back, and the lines are where you place them, and they're going to be there basically. So again, all the things we do is in sort of broadcast quality. Let me say that, but it's made simple, to be honest. So and with that said, we can jump forward. Yeah, thank you, Liana. You were perfect. So one of the things I must tell you, I got a note today that I started at Chyron a year ago. I've been at Chyron for about 10 plus years before that. One of the things we wanted to sort of start, if you can restart that video, Ileana, please, and loop it, was the stability of the actual tracking. Here you can see, and this is only from, again, optical tracking, but you can see when the play goes quick, the lines are staying there. And again, super simple to set up, super simple to work with. With the latest release, we actually improved the tracking performance. So last year when I came in, I said, let's focus on this. And we made, I would say, the tracking 50% better from what it was before. Now we've actually expanded on that. So from that, it's, all my developers say don't put out numbers, but I would say 30% better than what we were last year, and which customers were loving. So, and the reason for that is we have a great AI team that's been taking care and looking at footage, and we're actually using the hash marks right now to do the tracking as well. So using that, we can get even more stability on the actual calibration. Again, as you can see here in the clip, even though it's not tracked by just tracked optically, it just stayed there. So that's one of the things we wanted to sort of get to. And again, what you can expect from virtual placement is a super easy system to set up, operate, work in, and that can handle, quick pans and zooms, pitch locking. Again, if you go into the crowd and come back, pitch will lock back and find the lines. The system in reality needs two lines to be able to find its way back. So if you have a vertical and a horizontal line, that's when it's going to lock back. So I always say it's like within 2-3 frames or something like that. So and the other thing is virtual placement handles everything like Arthur mentioned, like from the CFL to NFL to NCAA. So we're actually doing all these things. Even though the fields are a little bit different, we can handle them, and it's the same reliability within all three sort of leagues. Let's call it that. Moving forward, so chroma keying. It's a critical part of what's making virtual graphics look great. And in virtual placement, we have a chroma keyer, meaning you can make sure that the graphics appear underneath the players, as you can see in our little GIF here. It also has multiple options to sort of make sure the graphics looks like it's there. And this is the same for like the feather and everything like that, all we're doing. One thing I will tell you as well is we have a big initiative within Chyron to sort of even enhance the chroma keyer, and people still think this chroma keyer is one of the best out there, but we're looking to even enhance it, maybe not have the operator sort of control it. As you can see in the video here, the operator needs to set it, but with lighting changes and things like that, the operator still needs to do it, but our AI team made a big initiative of helping all our products for this year. So we might actually have something for the start of the NFL season. If you want to go forward, Ileana. Yeah, real-time graphics, and just jump to the next one, please, if you could. The thing about, let's just go back and say, one of our main objects here, especially with virtual first, is of course the down and distance line, right? That's the bread and butter of the system at the moment, and you can do a lot of cool stuff, other stuff that Arthur will explain to you. But what we did during the last year is actually advance this functionality of it. So of course we sync with live game data like OES or Daktronics, so you can get the play clock coming into the system. And even the down and distance, that just moves automatically depending on where the Daktronics or OES operator sets it up. But we can also, since we're supporting other leagues that might not have OES or Daktronics, we also support free, let's say, free use from the operator. And one of the things we added is the 50-yard switch, where you can actually move across the 50-yard line and say update, and it'll give you a 1st and 10, which has been a great improvement for some of our customers that don't have the data. In the past, you would have to select, am I on the left side of the field? Am I on the right side of the field? And of course, if you move ahead, sorry, Ileana. Yep. And of course, the bread and butter, the down distance sort of tool that we have that's used in 100% of the plays for the audience. We've added dynamic placements, so meaning you can put your feather in pitch level and then your play clock in billboard, meaning it's standing up. Adding a shadow underneath is also an opportunity, but it's not shown here. And also the auto follow, which means if the operator or if the Daktronics or OES operator moves the line, the actual down and distance will move towards it, but you can still change it as an operator. So if you feel like they're running a play with there's a lot of players standing on top of the 1st and 10, you might want to move it to somewhere else. So that's also available, as you see in the video. Of course, smooth animations. We support anything from an image to an animation. So the only thing you need to do here is basically transform it into our format, which is something that comes with all our programs. So it's not a big thing. Go ahead, Ileana. Next one. Thank you. So one of the things since I came in is, and Arthur had a lot to say in this. We had a big document with what we wanted to do. So even the down and distance, it looks simple, but we've added a lot of features the latest year. So one of the things is automation. So when do we want to put the play clock on? With 10 seconds left, we can set that up. Whenever the clock hits 10, it's going to come on and animate on. We can also do an auto off, so you don't get those 45 seconds, countdown again, because the play clock operators are really keen to resetting it as soon as the play starts. We can also do stuff like color from. So when the clock hits 3 seconds, it's going to color to red, and it's going to sort of be there. We've also expanded on the menu to add more options. I talked about the 50-yard switch. It's there, so an operator can easily access it. Let's say the data fails and they want to sort of move it manually. Super simple to just open this menu, as you see on the right, and sort of go with it. So the idea when I came in is like, let's never miss a play because of, data could be down for any reason. And let's try to, well, I said 99%, so I kind of lied there, but 99% of the plays we should have in total. Not to mention for American football, I even had coaches coming up to me and saying, oh, the 1st and 10 was wrong on the screen. So they ran the wrong play because they looked at the screen, sort of, which was a good thing because it was in our system. So, but that's where I want to get. I want to get to 100%. I would say we're about 99+% at the moment. Yeah, and go to the next one. Thank you, Ileana. Yeah, so one of the other things we sort of support within virtual placement, we have a lot of customers that want, so if you look on the left side image, we have a lot of customers that sort of wants to place a sponsor logo on their own 1st and 10 feather. So we've set up options to sort of manipulate the home feather and have another away feather. The good thing about the system, it's just an option to say, click this button, now I'm using the away feather, and it changes automatically, and that doesn't have a sponsor underneath, as you can see on the Chyron logo up there. And one of the other things is everything from the feather to the lines could be team. They could be used in team colors. So, for instance, one of our customers is using a black line because their sort of main color is black, so as the scrimmage line. But of course, the yellow is the first down line. The other thing is that our system knows automatically if you go to 4th down that that line will be red and turn red because it's a 4th down, which is kind of a simple function. It will also say 4th and inches automatically if you are within inches of a 1st down. So everything is like streamlined and working as sort of we wanted to keep it as simple for the end user or the operator to operate and make sure it sort of get it on air. And we actually have, like last year, people sitting with their feet up and hitting 2 buttons the whole game and trying, sort of enjoying the game instead of focusing on trying to find the calibration all the time, which is something that's been a thing in other systems. So next slide. Thank you, Ileana. I don't know if it's mine still. Is this yours or is this mine, Arthur?
I think it's back to me.
Yeah, I saw a question there, Andrew. We'll get to that, and you'll see it within 10 minutes, I believe.
Thanks, Andy. Great stuff. And like Andrea said, I've also been working at Chyron for 15 plus years, and for many of those years, I was a product specialist and out all over the place demoing this product. And it has never been as fun to work with it as it is right now since Andreas came back and took over. And he's already showed you so many good new features and stability when it comes to chroma keying and tracking. But also, as he mentioned, you know, we want to be up there with the big networks. You know, this is broadcast ready for the big games, and a few of those new features that we needed to add it for that was, for example, the red zone tool. So as you can see here in the clip, we now have a button that simply highlights the red zone right away. If you go a little bit deeper into the settings, you can change the color, the opacity, add logos, add a text to be able to sponsor this and further explain what it is. But this is great, especially for venues. I feel when you know, they can really get the fans engaged by looking up at the screen and adding some dramatic music. Is now, you know, our team is in the red zone. Let's go score a touchdown. And from that tool, if you go to the next slide, Eliana, we adapted that tool and made it into a landing zone tool as well. So if you follow football, you know that last year we added some new rules to the kickoff. So the team kicking the ball need to hit a specific area, otherwise a penalty is thrown at them. So we use the red zone, but able to take out the fill color and just use an outline. We still have sponsorship opportunities here. We can add a text saying that this is the land zone, and completely customize that graphical look to use for the landing zone. And then as well, something great I think for people in the venues watching the game, could quickly look up at the screen and say, okay, that's where the landing zone is. That makes a lot of sense. If we go to the next one, another tool that you see on these big games is the field goal target line, and also great for fan engagement to see, you know, if it's the crunch time of the fourth quarter, their team needs to get to the 36-yard line or wherever, you know, their kicker is able to kick in the ball from the longest. So we've had ways to do this before, but it was much complicated and more complicated than it is right now. Right now, like the red zone, we have one quick simple button, not two, one for home or away, just one button. That button gives you a few options like left or right side of the field, home or away team. If you go, this is something that you do in your game setup, the operator would go into the settings and pick the home and the away team who's playing, so that like you can see here, the graphic is customized for that team, the colors and the logo, and as well as set the distance. So this is not super clear every time what that distance might be, but usually it's something that, you know, either ESPN can give you or the producer director of the show. But yeah, so you pick your distance there with a few simple buttons. You're putting that field goal target line out right when you need it. That is it for the new graphical updates. Next, we have Owen.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Arthur. So one of the nice things about this system is just how customizable it is particularly when it comes to needing to provide some revenue opportunities for the sponsorship team or for sales if it's in a broadcast environment. A lot of different ways that happens. You see the Hertz logo there, and those can be, you know, however sales sells it can be swapped out per drive, per quarter, however you want to do it. One of the nice things about, didn't really touch on it in the setup portion earlier, but there are 4 different chroma keyers within the system. So if you swap those by quarter, you could actually have those live on a different keyer and just apply the correct key when you change quarters, if and not have to scramble to set up a new sponsor, bring it in each quarter. If we can swap to the next slide. Another way that we can do this is through multiple outputs. So, in a broadcast setup, a lot of times you'll see some region-specific sponsorships that, depending on the market, will get different sets of ads. This can also be different languages, could have English language on one output, Spanish on another, or something similar to that. Or if you need a team feed, if your highlight show or coach's show or coaching staff wants the yellow line but doesn't want the feather, doesn't want the the advertisements or any of that kind of stuff, but does want the yellow line, you can create a feed, an output just for that. And then, if you have some outputs that need to be 4K versus some that need to just be HD, obviously we can tweak the output that way as well. So it's just super customizable depending on what your needs are, what your use cases are. We see some teams using it to feed suite TVs with one set of ads versus what goes out on the video board, or suites getting a different feed from the concourse, are all possibilities that you can do. So it's highly customizable, and creating additional digital inventory for sales to give you the ROI needed to justify the purchase. So and then when it comes to graphics, I'll toss it over to Brian Bray. Brian heads our creative services department and can talk about what's available on the graphic side. We have some things that are built in already, but Brian can talk about all of that.
Hey everybody. So I'm wearing my my creative hat today. I cover different areas in this group, but creatively, we come in, we can sit down with your team, figure out what it is you'd like, what your brand looks like, what you'd like to do. Mostly in this scenario, we're looking at the feathers. We're looking at looking past. So as you've seen some of the examples that have come through, the Pittsburgh Steelers tend to use what looks like the giant crayon. Sometimes they go to the big box. You go to the Miami Dolphins, you see a teardrop. There's just so many different ways to put graphic down as far as showing the game information as it goes down. And if you want to creatively sit down with us, we're happy to build that out. If you want to bring to us your thoughts and your ideas or your designs, we can integrate that for you and get that set up for you. And then when we do that, we'll, as you see here, kind of the look here, we'll take it and we'll set it up so that you can change colors, logos, and make it super easy for you to make your own changes through PDS files and whatnot. We can work at the NFL level. We can work with you at a high school level. I mean, it really just depends on what your process is and what level you're at, and we sit down and help you guys figure that out. Let's go into the next one here. So let's talk a little bit also about what's ahead. We're doing a lot of work. Wolfie, like he said, Andreas, we call him Wolfie. If you look at him, you'll get it. Andreas, he's been with us for a year. He's also working with our Paint, which is our telestration tool. He's also the manager there. And so we're seeing a little bit of crossover, some really cool effects and unique things that can work with both systems. So looking forward, we are looking at a new launch coming up here. Was it in a week? When you got that coming in, Andre? Next week? Week after?
I would say Thursday next week is the goal to get it out. That's 7.9. And if I may, I might just sort of quickly take over here on what's ahead.
Sure.
To just explain it, the Prime integration. Prime, if you don't know it, is our CG, which is a really powerful sort of graphics engine. We already have it sort of embedded, living within the virtual placement, but we're not up to the latest version. So what we're working on now is trying to sort of bring the latest version of Prime in, and meaning you can put any data into Prime, which has a great way of getting data into it, and use that, put it anywhere you want on the field really, and show that to the audience. So let's imagine it's a red zone. Why not pop up the red zone percentage next to it somehow? That's sort of the idea what we're working with Prime. And the good thing about Prime integration is that it lives on the same system, so you don't need multiple systems to use this. You can just trigger it on the same system. And again, it's embedded. That's one of the things. Another thing is next-gen stats. You've seen our calibration. If we can now marry the tracking data together with the calibration and actually be able to say after play, go back to the start, highlight 2 players in a matchup, for instance, show that on the first replay. That's what we really want to do. So, and that's something we're working hard on. It's not for 7.9, it's for 8.0. So we want to get this out before the NFL season and test it out with customers to start with. But the good part about this is since we used to have a company called TrackUp within our reins, which is now left for EA Sports, unfortunately, but we've already done this. So player tracking data and marrying it with virtual placement is nothing new to us. So that's why we say this will get done probably before the NFL season as well. The other thing that's important is IP 2110. We're doing sort of a global initiative across the products to support 2110. And that's basically for both my products, Paint and VP is in the next version. So it will be sooner rather than later that we get that in. Thank you.
All right, I think we're going to go to questions next. So let's jump on it.
Yeah, thank you, Brian, and thank you everyone for that, all that great information. Yeah, I wanted to open this up for questions. I know Jacob has been monitoring the chat. So Jacob, has there been any questions that we can get the panel started on?
Yeah, Andrew P. Asked the question, is there a function for the field goal target line?
Yeah, and as Arthur showed,
Yeah,
it's in there. Sorry, Andrew. Go ahead.
No worries. Thank you for your time. I did have a couple of follow-up questions. I guess I can ask now. Andrew Proctor with the Washington Commanders. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the lead time for getting equipment into the stadium, control room, training, and all that type of things. And also, you brought up the technology with Daktronics All Sports. Is there any added cost needed for like the back end integration of that, or is that just kind of built in with the software?
Thanks, Andrew. Lead times right now are about 3 to 4 weeks from a signed, either a PO or a signed quote to delivery. The commissioning costs that would be reflected in the quote, which if it's commissioned remotely is not significant. It includes, your Daktronics integration or your scoreboard, your clock integration, all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty simple. I mean, that clock integration is not a big lift. And then training and commissioning is a day, or training is a day. So, obviously we'd work with you to assemble your crew of, anybody that you would want available to do the training. The training's available both remote or in person. Another option that we also offer is, in-game first game support or anything like that. If you want, someone on site for the first game or anything, just to kind of, smooth it out with your operators as they learn the new system. But all those are available. I would say for, if you're looking for preseason games, early August, we want to probably be, have a deal done by the end of June, 1st of July.
And Andrew, Owen said you have training for a day, and you would. Hour and a half, you'll have this thing completely and absolutely, locked down, ready to go. You could put one of your operators in front of it, and within 15 minutes he'd be running it. It's a very, like Wolfie was saying earlier, it's a very simple system. It's pretty intuitive. As long as you understand football, you're 100 miles to go. If you have to learn football while you're running it, it might take a little bit longer, but it really is a simple system to run. You can set it in an auto setup, or you can set it manual. It's really cool how it's elegant how he's got that thing working. So it really is a simple pick it up and run with it. And if you have to change out personnel, it's really not that hard to set somebody down in front, walk them through it. They're ready to go.
Yeah, and when I said a day for the training, I mean the operator training is a couple of hours, 3 hours probably. And then for anybody on the production side that will be importing graphics, building graphics, those kinds of things, there's, some additional time, and it's really just up to you who needs what pieces of information in that training.
And then as far as the, I can let Wolfie jump in a little bit, but when you're setting up your cameras, if your cameras are staying, you really have a setup. You want to test it, but you're set. If your cameras are coming up and down each time, you'll want to go through the setup. The setup can, I've done this several times. Arthur's done it 100 times. What do you think, guys? I'll be half an hour, a full setup time, and we're done, or even less. I want to get done even less than that. So
I would say 30 minutes. Yes. Again, the taking up the cameras is probably like a 1 minute process per camera to 2. So especially if you have 3 cameras, like per camera, 2 minutes, and then you have your snapshots that you want to take. Then the operator needs to calibrate off of those and show where the lines are on the field. That's probably about a 5 minute process per camera, I would say.
I guess the point I'm trying to make is that as you have your operators come in, they don't have to come in super early. It literally can be done in the normal setup of a game prep. I'm pretty familiar with game prep, what it takes to do all that. I'm saying you can get this done with your normal setup time. You just need camera guys to shoot a few scenes. They get captured. You have somebody back in, operating the setup, set the lines up. You go back and test it, look at it, you're ready to go. And after you've done it once or twice, it goes even quicker. It does go pretty quick. So
yeah, to your point there, I was saying the first time is a little bit clunky, and you kind of get used to it, and then every time after that, you just shave off, minutes and minutes and minutes every time. So,
Andrew, do you have any other questions about that?
No, that's awesome. We have, similar workflows kind of already in place. We're just looking for a system to replace a much more expensive competitor. So
Understood.
Thank you for the answers.
Yeah.
And to wrap up everything there, Andrew, another resource that we like to offer is our Chyron Academy. We have a VP curriculum in there. It's free to register, and it is there to help ease that onboarding, or any operators that you bring in that may want to learn the system beforehand, and it'll save time in regards to game day setup and execution as well.
So there's a good question here from Matt, and I'll let Arthur or Wolfie answer this one, but about monitoring the keying and calibration from 3 cameras simultaneously. So how does that work?
I would say one of the good parts about the system, we showed you real quickly the keying process, but we have something called sort of a shared keyer, meaning if you key camera 1 and the lighting conditions are the same for camera 2, it'll use that and actually sort of propagate the changes you make during the game onto all 3 cameras. Of course, it could be what we call here in Sweden, it's called the bing, when they set the lighting. That could be off, but as soon as they set the lighting, it will actually be to whatever camera you was on in the end. So we kind of trust the lighting guys to set it up similar on all 3 cameras. But I would say most cases, I think we have a bigger problem here in Europe because this system also supports soccer, and they have flares, and it's smoke, and it's everything, and we can still handle that. We will never see that in the NFL, probably. So I would say the system is well equipped to handle all 3 cameras in a game situation.
Matt, too, I would say the calibration once because the lines don't move, right? And assuming the cameras don't move, the calibration is the calibration. Once it's set, it's pretty much there. So it's really the main job that the operator kind of has during the game is actually the key. The key is the thing that they will pay the most attention to. Obviously they might need to move the feather if you have 3 wide receivers at the bottom of the screen and that's where the feather is and you don't want people standing on it. You might need to slide the feather a little bit. But if you don't have a lot of changes with a lot of sponsors coming in and out, depending on how your show's sold and how your show is built, monitoring the keying, especially if you're an outdoor venue that has, obviously the sun moving during the game, moving the key is their primary role. And so it's really just kind of as You find that little bit of time in between while they're in the huddle that you can just adjust your key and just clean your key as it needs to be cleaned. But outside of really drastic lighting changes, that's kind of their primary focus that they would have during the game.
Yeah, and I think Arthur can attest to this because we did proof of concept with the Miami Dolphins, which, if you know that stadium, it's kind of tricky at points with the lighting and everything. And I'll let you take that, Arthur, but it went really well, I believe.
Yes, and like Owen mentioned there in the beginning, we have multiple keyers. So if one side of the field is more in sun than the other side, you can split those up. But when it comes to multiple cameras, I also feel like, especially in football, one of the three cameras are always going to be game. So all you got to do is you got to know which camera that is. You listen to the director saying, okay, one is game now. Then you focus on one. 2 and 3 are not going to be on air for a while until that the gameplay moves over there. So you set up your keyboard with a bunch of shortcuts so you can easily go between the cameras. You can easily go between chroma keying, and you just focus on that camera that you're that's in use right now, and it's a matter of a few button clicks to update. And like Owen said, when they're in the huddle, you adjust the key and then you're ready for gameplay. So.
For the most part, the key adjustments in game, during a drive would be very minute. What the key might look like at the end of the first quarter from the beginning of first quarter might be significant, but when you're talking about within a drive where the operator is going to be at its busiest, they're just minute little tweaks where just, if you've ever built a mask in Photoshop, it's kind of very similar, and you're just kind of picking little pieces on the mask to just make sure that your key is really solid. So it's pretty minute adjustments that are happening in game.
Yeah, and not to mention that, again, we have a big initiative to do an AI keyer that's probably going to help all our products going forward. So beware that we're sort of not stopping here. We want to go forward.
And Chris, to your question about 3 in, 3 out, yes, the system can take in all game cameras across the sideline, left, right, and center. We calibrate all of those 3 cameras, and we give the switcher and the TD 3 outputs composite out with the graphics on top. So in a scenario where all those 3 cameras would shoot the field, so we see the lines, the switcher would have 3 outputs with down and distance line, and there's only one control. Like Andy said, the one button works for all 3 cameras at the same time. So moving the line moves it on all 3 cameras.
Another quick question I have for the Brain Trust here: does virtual placement support other sports? For example, does it support the CFL, USFL, and other similar sports similar to the NFL?
So yeah, NCAA football, CFL, soccer, we support. We just now started proof of concept that we showed for the NAB show in Vegas about 3 weeks ago, was basketball as well, or NBA basketball to be fair. We also support like tennis and racquetball. I mean, I would say the amount that we have different ways of tracking the field. One is called line tracking, which you've seen today. We know where the lines are, we follow them. We also have something called scene tracking, which is basically take any scene, give it reference of where the scene is, and it will track it. So yes, you can pretty much use it on, we've even used it on like political shows where they showed like statistics in the ground or on the wall behind even the Chancellor of Germany, which was standing in front of it, which was kind of cool to see. But so the system is really, what do you say, adverse and can work with in a lot of situations.
If you want to do, and we're talking logo placement at this point in time, not necessarily you're not using first and 10 lines on the Chancellor of Germany, but if you're using logo placements, and as we talked about, being able to basically do AR, we could put information out from Prime, put it anywhere you want to put it, at any angle, any setup, and as that starts coming into fruition more, it's a much easier system to be able to place AR elements anywhere you need to. If you've got a parade going on, you've got sponsors for that parade. If you've got any other sport you can think of in baseball, you want to put a name on a mound. I mean, there's a lot of ways this system can be used outside of just a football 1st and 10 system, and that's where we want to focus on 1st and 10 in this conversation. But at the same time, this opens up a lot of opportunities depending on what your logo placement needs are.
Yeah, and maybe enhance your sort of internal shows with using this system, not only for the games, but using it for the internal shows. With that said, we're working a lot on that one as well. So we have a system that I'm sort of confident in. We want to expand on that as well. So but bear that in mind that the system can do multiple things for you. It's not like you're buying it for the game day thing only.
And because it works with OES and DAC controllers, even if it's a kind of not one of the big 4 sports or something like that, if it's tennis or wrestling or anything like that where you've got scoreboard data, like if it's not something that would automatically parse with a little bit of JavaScripting that we can take care of for you, we could find ways to bring that data into a scene. And the scene tracking that Andreas was talking about, it's if you've ever built a layer mask in Photoshop, it's very similar. You kind of establish some anchor points to tell the system where the edges are, and then you build your mask of where you want your data to go. So it's setting it up, and depending on what your camera placement is on those is might take a little bit more pre-production the first time you do it, but it's something we can help you with.
Yeah, in that case, we're using different zoom levels of the camera sort of to specify where things are, but it's a really easy process as well.
All right. Do we have anybody else have any other questions? Ileana, if you want to go to the last one.
Yeah.
There. So the QR code there has my contact info. It's also in the invite that you got, but my email address, but it's owen.seaton@chyron.com, but you can grab it off of the QR code there. Happy to answer any questions that you have. If you need any reference materials about the hardware associated with it or any of those kinds of things, or delivery windows or use cases that you want to ask specific questions about, I'm happy to help anytime.
Thanks, Owen. Really appreciate you jumping on there. And again, we will attach Owen's information in the follow-up email that we'll be sending out tomorrow morning as well. That'll include the recorded webinar link. Please feel free to share that with any of your colleagues who may not have been able to attend, any partners or stakeholders that you think that this would be beneficial for. And we really look forward to seeing you next time on our next webinar. Again, thank you all for joining today and greatly appreciate it. Hope you have a great rest of your week and a wonderful weekend.
Thanks, bud.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.